still opportunity. That shows how quickly things can change in life, right? Just wait a few years and maybe something happens like that and your life is upside down. But what about a wholesale? What about this market we're talking about? These billions a lot in investments. There sits on satellite links, cables, data centers out there. Things cannot change that quickly, can they? Well, maybe they can. And when they asked me to come back for 30 minutes to have a follow-up chat on this, I did say, yes, absolutely, I think we should. I am now got the pleasure of welcome back Emmanuel Rochas, the CEO of Orange Wholesale International. Welcome, Emmanuel. I was joking now, but life can change very quickly. And last time we spoke was only 7 months ago. We were in Paris. We were at the MEF Leadership Forum, hosted by Orange. Thanks again. And yet again, we find that we have to talk about what's happening out there. I assume, Emmanuel, that things are changing and very quickly. Maybe you can confirm or tell me otherwise. And you are mute, so make sure that you unmute yourself as we want to hear from you. Emmanuel, welcome. Are things changing very fast for you?
Yeah, hello, Dario, and hello everybody. It's a great pleasure to be having this conversation again. As you say, only 7 months or 6 months after we had the previous one. And yes, of course, things are changing so much, and in the technology, in the market, we have heard about the voice and SMS. So 1 year before, the SMS was not at all in the same stage as today. So well, there are so many changes and so many opportunities that are coming in.
Well, absolutely. So I'd like to keep you here and representing Orange Wholesale International. Tell us a bit more about that. Well, let's start with the trends that we're seeing right now. And I think no one right now could not say something about AI whenever trends is mentioned. So I probably need to ask about that. So is there a relationship between AI, this massive computing and service revolution, and the whole world of wholesale? And is that impacting you in any way, first of all?
Yes, of course, it's among the trends that probably 1 year ago was not so much on top of the list in the wholesale industry. We were looking at it probably as all the verticals, as an opportunity to transform ourselves, and clearly we can see as operators that AI is going to bring a lot of opportunities to transform, to automate, to change the way we do things, to create more value for the customers. So that's the internal use. And finally, I would say that 1 year ago, we were looking at it much more like a potential for us as any other industries to transform us. But now it's what is really happening is that we start to see the impact that AI is going to have on our global network architecture and the global needs of the market for infrastructures, and that's really huge. And I would even say that it's a bit frightening actually. So when you see and you mentioned the huge needs of computing that the players in the AI market are requiring, which is multiplied by 4 compared to today, and probably even more. And each and every of those players have this type of huge requirements, which creates two types of challenges in terms of resources. One is of course the energy and the power to feed all this computing capacity that is needed. And we can see, and we can probably challenge the fact that currently the power grid in Europe is able to absorb or to feed or to serve all these needs that are today identified by the hyperscalers. So that's the first real challenge. The second one is about connectivity. And when we talk about the players involved in AI, in particular the hyperscalers, what they tell us is that in terms of network and connectivity, what they have done in the past 15 years to build their network to serve their cloud business, they will have to do it again or maybe twice in the next 2 years' time. So you see the major challenge in terms of availability of build of also reliability, diversity that we have to face. And clearly for us, it's a real challenge for all the operators, because we need to find the capex, we need to have to find the manpower to build all these. We need to find the solutions, and do it while minimizing the impact, of course, on the environment. So that's really a key challenge I can see related to AI.
Well, you touch on sustainability, something that is very close to our heart. So I hope we can get back to that at some point. But I cannot stop and commenting on what has happened recently, as we are on the 2nd of July today. But only a month ago, the most valuable company in the world was an infrastructure company, a semiconductor one. So infrastructure is getting sexier. And then you mentioned it as well. Wholesale might be the next sexy thing as well. So let's see whether it's NVIDIA, as we were talking about, getting all of the AI attention, but there is much more involved in delivering this revolution, which will be an artificial intelligence world with services. But let's talk about the services. Infrastructure is one thing. Is AI changing also how wholesale services work? I mean, where is having an impact on Orange?
Yeah, actually, it already does, but obviously in the next future, it will increase, and we have to anticipate and think about how it will enable us to accelerate the transformation that we are already doing for some years in terms with digitization, with the data, with the automation and everything. And today I'm in a workshop with all the Orange Wholesale teams, and one of our topic is exactly to try to figure out what can be the potential financial impact of AI on our business and cost structure in the future. So maybe one or two examples of what we are doing already at Orange. On the network side, we are working with a partner, which is a technology partner, to implement a tool in our network in order to manage the network incidents. And with this tool already that we have deployed, we have been able to reduce by 70% the number of network alarms that has to be managed by our supervision teams and by our NOC. So that's huge. And what we foresee in the future with the evolution of this tool and this partnership is that we should be able even to anticipate the network failures, the network incidents, by, I would say, combining a number of different small signals that we can collect in the network. So this is very powerful, and this is enabling our people to focus on what matters the most for our customers, and not I would say, managing or processing unuseful alarms. A second thing on which AI is already used at Orange for a couple of years is on anti-fraud. We were talking before of voice and messaging. So we have a team of 18 fraud analysts at Orange Wholesale International, who are managing all the traffic, voice and SMS, and they are supported by an AI tool who is analyzing the patterns of the traffic and I would say triggers some alerts that they process, and they decide if they block or not, depending on the analysis of the tool. So that's again very powerful, and it shows that AI is not just replacing the people and the skills that we have today. It's empowering those people and those skills to do better their job and to focus on what the skill is most valuable for.
That's great. And, as we are MEF and we cover that a lot, I'll just have a little shout at the conversational commerce as well, because that's where we are seeing a lot of the AI applications so close to the CPaaS world, to the SMS and WhatsApp and our services, which we are seeing being part of the wholesale world. But another things that I do hear a lot right now, and we have heard it from Julian Watson from Omdia in the first wholesale look from the analyst, is the word of APIs. Now, network APIs is heard a lot, and something that we hear at MEF a lot is, well, how do we monetize that? So the question to you is, how do we make money with APIs? What's happening?
Yes, so that's but APIs is another buzzword of those. I would say the past year in in the wholesale industry and the telecom industry in general. And well, I think there is a bit of a misunderstanding of what APIs are. APIs, and when we hear the people talking about APIs, we sometimes lose sight on the fact that APIs is not a product. As API is not something which will be monetized by itself. So what we monetize is the capacity, the capabilities we have in our network, the functions and the services that we have in our networks and our platform. The APIs, and as their name shows it, they are an interface. They are an enabler to automate and to distribute those network services. So they are finally helping us to monetize. And sometimes without API, you cannot monetize. There are some 5G services or mobile services like identity, like location, that obviously you cannot monetize if you have not something automated to order it and to implement it and to integrate it. So API sometimes becomes a critical enabler. That's why we maybe misunderstand or we confuse between the service and the way to monetize it. But clearly, APIs is a key element of the future value chain of our industry, both wholesale and retail. And our policy at Orange is really to have APIs each time we develop anything in the network, in our IT, in our platforms. We need to have an API to make sure that internally or externally, this function we develop, this service we develop, can be called and interfaced and ordered in an automated manner. So that's very critical, and that's the way we will also make a lot of savings in our very manual industry, because APIs will be the mean to interface and automate a lot of action that today require manual intervention.
That's great. Well, we have one question from the public. I usually would wait until the end, but as we're just mentioning that topic, you just mentioned efficiencies. We just talked about AI, so let's give a voice to the public. Let's see what Jean Pradas have said. Hello, Jean. Question: efficiencies and optimization of resources is key for success moving forward. Do you believe that AI will bring those aspects in operations of a business as well? So will AI work on the efficiency as well?
Yes, I believe so, and I already mentioned a couple of elements on the anti-fraud and the network management and supervision. But we can see that in many other areas, we are looking at how we can use AI to automate a number of, I would say, basic actions or even more complex actions. So this morning I was talking about what we can do with AI in the pre-sales area. So what we could I would say build the offers by using the AI, teach the AI to be able to define all the parameters of the offer and the connectivity we want to sell to our customer. We can have also AI monitoring the delivery of our solutions for sure. And we could use AI also to create personalization. In the wholesale industry, we like a lot standards, but we like a lot also the bespoke solutions, and all our customers want to have a specific feature. But we could use AI really to make sure that we specify and we adapt our solutions to our customer needs.
Well, thanks, Emmanuel. We talked about AI, we talked about APIs for some of the big network, wider perspective that are happening. There is one more topic we potentially have talked a lot, but I think less so recently, which is 5G. Now, 5G has got the potential of changing the mobile ecosystem, the wholesale part of it as well. Where are we with 5G and the latest flavor, the full flavor, the standalone 5G? Is that going to be changing the dynamics in this market?
Yeah, well, currently 5G is already quite widespread across the MNO's network. But I would say it's the first flavor of 5G in most cases that we can see is really the 5G, what we call the 5G non-standalone, which is bringing already a number of benefits for our customers and for MNOs. For customers, because it's bringing more more bandwidth, and for MNOs, because it creates more efficiency in the network. It creates also a bit more less carbon footprint from our mobile network. It enables to shut down all the older generations of mobile networks. So that's already a first benefit. But the real disruption with 5G is coming with the 5G standalone. So which means deploying 5G to core network, 5G core networks by the MNOs. And what we see today is that we have roughly 20% of the MNOs with a 5G core network in place, which doesn't mean that it is a implementing full-fledged the possibilities of the 5G. And I would say 50% of the MNOs are today considering that they are preparing the launch of their 5G core network. So it's not very fast, I would say. If 2 years ago, I would have expected that this would have gone faster. And the reason for that is that a core network, it costs a lot of money. It's really different technology. It's also probably the use cases that we expect from 5G standalone are not completely confirmed today. So there are some doubts in particular in the tier 2 and tier 3 MNOs on whether this will create value or not, and if the investment makes sense or not. So there are a number of things, and skills to manage a 5G core network also are a bit different from what is needed for a 3G and 4G. So what we did at Orange, and this is where I would say the wholesale opportunities is coming in, is that we are first of all, we are preparing for the 5G standalone roaming, which is something very different, very challenging, also for the MNOs to implement. So the architecture is quite complex. So we are preparing that, which is not today widespread, and the 5G standalone roaming is very is like more like test today than real on field. And with different solutions depending on how much the MNO wants to invest in this roaming architecture and the skills related to this architecture. And the second thing we are working on is to provide a solution to the smaller MNOs or the smallest MNOs who want to test the 5G standalone use cases without having to invest tens of millions of euros in a core network, is to provide them with a core network in the cloud, which can be mostly OPEX based and scalable and usage based. And provide these managed by an MNO group who knows how to do it. And this is a solution on which we work, and we will launch it on the market in the next quarters.
Well, it seems to be working on some of the exciting new things and some of the exciting mature things, I would say. Roaming definitely has been there for a long time, but there is still life and excitement in there. So, well, good luck on all of those key challenges. But let's talk about the not so good things right now. The things that might keep you slightly awake at night. Now, what is the worry that you have from Orange Wholesale International? Well, last time we spoke, for instance, you were telling us how the view was to move the wholesale system to be more IT, more software, more digital, if you want. It changes not just on the bits of the services, but a cultural change as well. How is that going? Is that still top of your mind? Is that a concern or not?
Yes, clearly, digitization is a clear focus on our side, and with a strategy we call or a transformation plan that we call Wholesale as a platform. So make wholesale a real platform for our customers and our partners. And one of the challenges we have today is really to educate our market and our ecosystem to using digital services. And what we see is that we have I would say long-lasting relationship with our customers. They like having their account manager, their service manager, ask their service manager for the the QS reporting, ask their account manager for any upgrade, while we are already providing these services online. And this is really, and this is of course a challenge we have faced also already in the B2C market. So making sure that our B2C customers are using increasingly the services we provide them on our digital interfaces. But this is the same path we follow on the wholesale. And well, honestly, I find it's very slow adoption. It's the same with APIs. When we look at the MEF, the other MEF, the Metro Ethernet Forum standards APIs for fixed connectivity, we see that the adoption is very slow, like 30 or 30 implementations today, which is not very high, and only 10 on the buy side. So we see that the timing for the dynamic to be created is quite long. We have seen that on the trouble ticket side, where we have digitized that 3 years ago, and it took us almost 18 months to go from 10% of usage to 80% of usage today. And it takes time and pedagogy, a lot of pedagogy with customers to explain the benefits and to create the new reflexes of using these interfaces and not the traditional ones. So that's really a big challenge from my perspective.
Well, lots of things are changing, and let's see if something else is there into your list of things to watch out for. We just had election in France. We are going to have elections here in UK, India, US. I mean, you can put this year has been the election here, but it's not just political celebration of democracy, and it's the changes that it brings. And some of the changes we've seen in the last year, even more serious one, like real war, is a geopolitical fragmentation and the changes in the geopolitical world out there. How is it for a company that has got physical assets in some of those, or clearly close to some of those hot areas? How is that bringing a consideration, a worry? Are we moving away from the world of free international capital, free globalizations, and peaceful to something that you have to be much more concerned about?
Yes, it's true that our international wholesale industry is very much affected by all the geopolitical events and tensions and wars, of course, that are happening, and we see that around Russia. We see that in Asia. We see that today in the Red Sea, and this creates a lot of challenges, operational challenges. And I would say that we cannot consider that anything is acquired to last. So we should really think of the way we secure the connectivity, which is becoming every day more important for our customers and for the whole society and planet. So we need to think of how we create even more resiliency in our networks, in our infrastructures. I remember 5 years ago we were considering that connecting a point of presence with 2 routes was okay. Then we moved to 3 routes, and now we are just considering increasing to 4 or 5 for the most critical points of presence. So we need to think of, and when we see what's happening in the Red Sea with 3 or 4 cables which have been cut for months because there is no way to send a boat there to repair. It's massive. The impact on the global connectivity of the world is massive. So we really need to think of new routes, alternative, and protect even more than before our networks from this type of events.
Well done to keep the world network so resilient. Nevertheless, we're not as much aware of those issues out there, but I do understand how they can be top of the list in the priority. Now, we talked about the digitalization before. You talked about some of the network elements on. If I may, I know the time is going to be a potential issue, but a very quick element you did mention last time when we spoke was about the people and the culture thing, and the question that how talent is a different talent question. Talking about resilience of network, that sounds like a good old, telecom engineer role, but you're looking also for different places, different people to come and join. How is that going in the last 6 months? Is that enough to see already some changes in the roles that you are getting and attracting at Orange?
Yeah, well, clearly the digitization and in particular the softwareization of the network is really changing the skill set we need to run our business. If I look at the engineer profile, previously we were, I would say, in the old world of telcos, we were needing 80% of telco capabilities, 20% of IT. Now we see that in the future with AI softwareization, we will need more like 20% of engineer, network engineer, and 80% of IT. So that's that's a shift which is massive. And at the same time, with AI, I've mentioned that we should make huge productivity gains in many of our operations. So we will have the opportunity to reskill and upskill a lot of our employees. So this is really one of the challenge we have, and we are working on that at Orange, investing a lot of money to train our teams to IT, to train our teams to AI. We have created a platform, internal platform, like ChatGPT based, but Orange on Orange infrastructure, to give that as a sandbox to all our employees. They can use it freely and test and use AI every day in their different use cases in their roles. So that's really where we want to bring our people, is to more IT, more, I would say, tech co-culture of a kind of company.
Well, and more innovation will come out of it. Let's talk about our innovations. We heard from Julian Watson from Omdia, his list of innovation in wholesale. Good news, Orange was there, so well done. But I'm going to ask you instead your specific list of those innovative projects you're doing. I promise I'm not going to interrupt, so you'll have a full 2 minutes. What are you working on at Orange right now?
Well, we work on a number of things. I was mentioning before the wholesale as a platform. So this is really one of our key focus in terms of innovation and developing new services. And we start very pragmatically by digitizing I would say the care services and some offers that we provide and we offer through APIs. But this is really a strong focus, and the idea is really to contribute, I would say, to create the global connectivity platform that everyone wants to have, in particular the hyperscalers, because our transformation is a global one, led by global players, and we need to provide them the global connectivity platform. So that's the first thing. The second thing is satellite. Satellite is really a topic on which we are very interested in, because we see that the new life of satellite is very, very interesting in terms of complementarity with the other type of networks and connectivity that we have on Earth. And we are looking in particular at some technology and to do direct to device with satellite, because we see that for our customers, being able to be connected everywhere will rely at some point on satellite connectivity. And today there are technologies which are very interesting to look at. Well, maybe a last comment about 5G. And for sure, 5G is bringing a lot of potential for IoT, Internet of Things. So there is a lot to do beyond the 5G standalone to be deployed. But looking at what will be the use cases tomorrow of in particular the slicing technology, and how we will be able to roam, to have those features, those slicing features, roam from one place to the other, from one country to the other. There are a lot of use cases to look at in this space.
Great, Emmanuel. Thank you. I think the time that we had it's gone like that, but it shows that we needed a bit of an update. So much is happening. I don't want to put it on your calendar, but maybe in 6 months from now, we might have to talk to you and the team at Orange again. But thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you for finding time for talking today. I will leave you all as well with the rest of a wholesale event from MEF. Please stay with us. Bye bye.
Thank you.